Hopefully this is working now. Yep.
Take the case off.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so as we're just waiting for people to jump into the stream, I'm just going to take my phone cover off to make this a little easier. My wife's going to record it. Hold it up. Hey Phoenix. It's going to be definitely a different way of doing things. Okay. It's going to be weird how to do this. Okay. So if you come and hold it and face it this way, yeah, face it towards me. You're probably going to need to hold that because it's showing you.
Oh, it's showing, yeah.
That's what I mean. No, you need to stand up. You need to stand up.
Why?
Turn the phone so it's facing me.
Oh, you want to see
Yes.
everything? Okay.
So then I can read the chat.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
No, I can't read the chat. It says, "Hey, wifey." Right, let me adjust it so you can hold it normally. Right, there you go.
Thanks. Now I can read for you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so I've probably been waiting nearly 18 months for this box. Probably no point in just waiting around, so let's get into it. So as you can see, I've not opened it yet. So I know what's in it, but I don't know what's in it, if that makes sense. So hopefully nothing's damaged, because that would be upsetting. So get rid of that. Okay. Okay. Definitely wrapped pretty well. Oh damn. Okay. Okay. So this is the bonus content. So, okay.
Jaker says, imagine it's broken or not the right thing.
Yeah, Jay, if that was the case, I'd probably cry. Okay, so this I think is the Holy Grail stuff. Yes, it is. Oh, damn. Okay, so this is the teaser for Holy Grail, Tainted Grail. So this is the art book this is an art book. So these are some of the models that they're going to be doing with Tainted Grail. This I'm pretty sure is still on Kickstarter. And the models are spot on. It's the same guys that have done this. Show you that. So these will all be on, I think they're going to be doing it on Tabletop Simulator as well. So you'll be able to potentially even be able to play all of this online as well, which is actually a blessing in itself. So this is Tainted Grail. So this is just a teaser for that. I think these are playing cards.
Scott says the artwork looks really good.
Yeah, the artwork's phenomenal. It's one of the guys that who's working on Tainted Grail, worked for Dungeons and Dragons and World of Warcraft, Blizzard for a while, and helped do a lot of their artwork.
Jake asks, are we gonna be able to play it with you tomorrow, Ryan?
Yes, we can play tomorrow. Oh, they are the playing cards. I knew they were either sending me the playing cards or the model. So I'm glad I've got the playing cards, because the playing cards are amazing. So if you can see it, I don't know if it's quite clear, but each card's very unique. And on the back of them, they have different model characters. So that's cool. But yeah, that's definitely. I'm pretty sure Tainted Grail's going to be on Kickstarter very soon. So that is Tainted Grail. This is the. Okay, that's a private letter. So this is the coin that everybody who purchased the game gets, and it's linked to both this and Tainted Grail.
I think it's very clear, but
so on each side, it has numbers to tell you what turn it is. So you can use it as a turn counter or other things like that.
Jake asks, is it an electronic game?
Yes, so you can play it on tabletop, on a game called Tabletop Simulator, which you have to then go and find the actual game online to be able to access it. Oh, that is meant. Okay, so this is the comic book, the graphic novel that they've made for this. Again, the artwork and just the artwork in it is phenomenal. And it's not a typical graphic novel. It kind of allows you to play a campaign, an actual campaign mode. So rather than just reading the comic book, playing the game, you can read the comic book as you're playing the game. So you can pick your characters, and you follow along the actual story. But rather than having following the set layout, you use the objectives and challenges to change the comic book. So there is then different outcomes. They have said that there is a second one going to be coming out. So hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on that as well. So yes, as you can tell, the game is called Nemesis. And for those people who in my stream who I've kind of discussed it with already, you have no idea how excited I've been for this. So I'm extremely happy I've got it. Yeah, I think these are the updated tokens. Yes, they are updated tokens. So they all come on push cards like this. Most of the tokens do. Some of them I think are plastic. But a lot of people have been making their own 3D printed ones. So then they have bigger versions of them. Okay, so. Oh, God blimey, that's heavy. Okay, so that's the main box set, which we'll open afterwards. I do like the packing form. So let's turn this around because it will work with different one. Okay. So we have one of the expansions. And then we have the stretch goals. Okay, so this is the main. So this is the main game. So this is what the Untold Story is based around, and it has its own unique story. It then has Aftermath. So this is what happens after, and the new creatures, which are the Void Stealers. And then it has the Carnomorphs, who are the higher end of the creatures that are trapped on Nemesis, or who are trying to destroy or take over Nemesis. So we will start with the main box now. Put them to one side.
Jake says he has to go.
Yeah, he's got young man.
Yeah.
So does Scott.
Phoenix says, wow, that's a lot of boxes for a game.
Who says that?
Phoenix.
Phoenix,
yeah, that's what he's.
Yeah. So they're actually, if I picked the very specific characters because I wanted to do it as the book, as the Untold Stories go. But in the main box set, I'll show a specific character to you. You can either have her storyline or his storyline.
I want to plug in.
Yeah, unplug it. And I specifically picked hers because hers is the main storyline. And that's kind of how I wanted to that pathway to go. So, like every bit of the box has some sort of design or pattern on it of each of the characters in the game. So if you look on the sides, on each of the sides there is a different character. So these are all the different characters within the game. And then we have the two final characters on top. So this is a game by Awakened Realms and Rebel. So for those who know who Rebel are, Rebel have been involved with a lot of miniature-based games through over a large period, and they put a lot of time into this with Awakened Realms. So let's find it. That new box smell. That new car smell. Okay, so we have the game manual. Crisp. And it quite literally is what it says goes. So what it says on the cards, what it says in the rule book is the rules. There is, you can have house rules about certain characters, how many people are actually going to play. But then obviously you have to add different characters and more characters and things like that into it. But every page is designed like you're looking at it on a computer or on a tablet. And I'm pretty sure there is a PDF with all the rules in, so I will be getting that on my tablet so I can put them all on there. But the drawings on it are just phenomenal. And it's not just a multiplayer game, you can do it on your own. So you have, obviously, the Untold Stories, but you can play it on your own, so you can be a solo survivor. But there's different rules to being playing solo. There's cooperative, and you can also play as the intruders. And then obviously we have room sheets, so basic rooms and additional rooms and special rooms. So these are all the rooms within the game that you go into. So these are all the different rooms on the ship. So as you can see, there's just some of them. And each one of them are all on push cards. And there is a lot of push cards. Pretty sure that's the board. Yeah, that's the board. So I will get the board out to show everyone. And for those who have played Dungeons and Dragons, this is a massive board. So this is the Nemesis ship, and it also has, I'm pretty sure, an alternative layout. So we have the Mark 1 and the Mark 2 Nemesis. Each room is designed very specifically for what you do. So I think I'm going to be using the Mark 2 when I play, potentially, because the Mark 2 is more spread out and it takes longer to travel, which is based for a long-term game. So we're going to leave this up. So again, we have, how many push sheets? 2, 3. So there's 7 push cards, which have all of the different rooms and different pieces that you need, including the engine rooms and the player cards. Mountain Scientist, Pilot, Scout. And obviously we have the box stand. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 6 characters altogether, plus the intruder card. And then we have the crew and the intruders. So these are the characters, and this one specifically is the Queen. So as I was saying at the beginning, it was either a he or a she, and I picked the Queen over the King. Each of these have been originally hand designed and then cast and then poured into resin. And the actual designs on them are extremely well put together. And they've actually, looking at this, they've actually been glued on. So they've actually been built before they were sent here. And they don't feel loose, they actually feel quite strong. So I bet if, for instance, if I wanted to design a different stand, I could probably use maybe a hot gun and just heat up the glue and change the stand that she's on. So actually I could make it a lot bigger. But I think for now she is perfect the way she is. I wouldn't want to mess with her anyway. The rules for her are ridiculous. Obviously we have all of the action cards, the intruder cards, and the cooperation cards. So these are what the game runs by. And then we have the coordinates, we have all the equipment and items that the crew has on the ship. We have all of the push cards go into there, and we have all the spare cards to put into them slots. Okay, so in this one we have our like scanning card. So you put up so some of the cards have infections on them, and to find out what the infection is, you need to use a holographic card. So you slide the card in, and it reads it allows you to see if you have an infection or not. A nice cool bag. So these are the tokens I was telling you about. So these are the warning tokens. So like if you go into a room that has sensors, it triggers it and it starts going off. We have repair tokens, we have fire tokens, we have our tokens for the base covers for the characters, it's the main characters, so you all pick a colour. These are damage counters, nice little red cubes, and we have clear tokens for sound and movement. Done them to little scarabs, or face huggers, as I ended up calling them. So, for those who have watched the Alien films, you'll obviously recognise the design of these. A lot more menacing than an alien, but equally as dangerous. Okay. This was the guy that I had issues with. He seems pretty good. So out of all the characters, my favourite one is the disabled guy, because his wheelchair is phenomenally designed. And he's one of the better characters in the game. But obviously every character has their own perks, and it's obviously down to the individual which character they pick. So let's put that to one side. Obviously I'll be going through this after the stream to pull everything out of the packaging, going through it to make sure there's no damages or anything like that. But just off first glance, it doesn't look like there is, so I'm pretty happy there. Any more comments?
No.
That's good.
Well, the last Phoenix says whoa.
So the only bit I'm concerned about so far is that there's no medic. Because I'm pretty sure the medic was supposed to be in this, but she might be in the other one. Okay, so that's the main game done. And then we'll move to the stretch goals. It has an M, so I'm going to presume the medic is in here. So for those who don't aren't on Kickstarter or who don't spend much time on Kickstarter, this board game was backed by 30,000 people, and it made, I think, $4 million altogether dollars. So there was a lot. They had to constantly add stretch goals or goals to achieve because people were wanting it. And because at the time there wasn't a Alien versus Predator style game, it was very popular. And obviously, in the last year or so, AVP came out as a board game with miniatures, so that kind of pushed towards this being quite a popular game, and it was also in one of the recent South Park episodes. So it just shows you how much investment and luck this actually got. Awesome.
Phoenix says that's really good for crowdfunding.
Yes, it's massive. It's the biggest funded game, like board game on Kickstarter, as of probably a week ago. I think they're expected that the Tainted Grail is going to do better. So obviously this is the updated rulebook with the new characters, and obviously the Void Stealers. So these are the rules for those characters. And yeah, I was right. The medic is in here. The medic is one of the characters that was added as a first day backer. So you only got it if you were able to back it on the first day it was released. I invested on it when they first announced it. There was a lot of talks about what game they wanted to do, and that's kind of where I stepped in and wanted to be more involved in it, and wanted to back it because I knew it would be a popular game, and I knew the medic would be a huge character to be involved in, and she's actually part of the original box set as a character, and her rules are in the original box set as well. Okay, they are the upgraded cards for the ones in here. So obviously we have new characters and more rooms to add. So we've got the android, the CEO, the psychologist, and the bounty hunter, which was kind of convenient for Mandalorian to come out recently. The convict, who is a cyborg, and obviously the Void Stealers. So they are the new characters, and that is the new board. So this actually attaches onto the main board. So you have a set amount of phases in the Aftermath board to link to this. It is all set on timers, so it's all, if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. So you only have a certain amount of time to do things. We do have some characters in here which definitely deserve a special mention. We have the eggs. Obviously they're very recognisable from the Alien films, and they are a huge involvement in this game. And we also have probably one of the coolest models. So this is the Hive Queen, the Void Stealer Queen. And she is a phenomenal model. They had so many problems with casting this model, that this is one of the reasons why it was delayed for so long. Oh, please let me get him out safely. And then we have the douche, our K9, who belongs to the bounty hunter. This guy wasn't actually going to be put in the board, but it was heavily requested that they did, and he's to go with the bounty hunter as a companion pet. And the detail on him is phenomenal. Okay, let's get it. There we go. And then give you another look at him. Yeah, is he getting it? It's very difficult to see the details, so what I'll do is I'll try and get a couple of pictures and post them on Twitter and in Discord just for people to see. But all the bases are designed for these characters, so they all stand up. Ooh, there's the turret. And then we have turret blocks as well for some of the new rooms. There's a couple of them. Yeah. Thanks. Obviously, we have Medic, and she does have similarities to Tracer as a character, and her design is extremely similar. But it's better than the original drafts that they had of her. They had her half naked wearing a nurse's uniform at one point. But the bounty hunter medic look was the one we went with. So that's the one we stuck with. And obviously it sits quite smoothly. Okay. Then you've got the CEO with his android companion. Very much like Wayland Enterprises. And obviously these aren't painted, and gradually over time I will get to painting them, but for now it will be gradual. And then we have one of the more interesting characters, the cat. Wearing a spacesuit.
That's cute.
There was 3 different versions of him, and I picked this one for my box, so I'm kind of glad I did. I think the other ones were a bit more on the wacky side. And then obviously a timer for each person. So everything is very quick with Aftermath. Definitely a lot more fun to go with. Again, crafting and item cards for the characters. Help cards and offer cards for the CEO and other characters like that. Room conditions and character conditions. So again, each character has their own unique traits and items that they can have. Some can carry items from other that others can, but only the only certain things can be carried by certain characters. So if you find a two-handed weapon, you have to drop everything else. Like the medic can only have a one-handed weapon because she uses medical kits and everything else with the other hand. And again, each of the trays has slots for their specific cards. So once these are done, we'll pop the cards out and put them in the right slots. It makes life much easier when it comes to playing the game. So let's go to the final box, which is the Carnomorphs, which is the one I was definitely looking forward to. Because these guys definitely look scary and are beasts in all intents and purposes of what they are. So this is where concentrating and knowing what room you're in definitely comes into play. Because these guys will kill you near enough instantly if you're messing around. Obviously the game rules for the Carnomorphs. You can play as the Carnomorphs. It's not advised though, because obviously you will win every time. Oh damn. He is as big as I thought he would be. So this guy is the Butcher, who is the main character for this box. And he is a scary character. Heavily armoured and dangerous. Obviously all of them are weighted underneath as well, so they all stay stood up. And then obviously his counterpart is her. And obviously if the Butcher and her are both on the same field, you ain't getting off the ship alive, put it that way. So it's definitely going to be interesting introducing these guys into the made board game and seeing how that works with gameplay. Obviously everything is formed around the models, so gradually over time the actual box will become easier to get things out. You have the attack cards and the intruder boxes. The intruder cards for this box set. Obviously there's different characters for different stages. So you have the smaller ones, and the next stage where you have the smallest, which look like baby aliens. You have the next stage up, which is kind of similar to the alien-human hybrids, which look freaky and disturbing. And then obviously you work up to the Butcher and his squad. And like all men, you have 3 of these guys, because he can never just be on his own. You need more support than what's necessary. So this is going to be a lot of fun to play. Obviously you've got the Scarabs as well. And these are about the size of, well, no bigger than an inch tall. but there's so much design and work put into it that it is impressive. So obviously the rule book as well. So this tells you what the characters are, how to set them up properly, what abilities they have, what the steps and stages are for them. You've got the Metagorgers, you've got the Butcher, you've got the Flesh Beasts. They all have very unique and special names and characters to go with them. So what I'm going to do over the next probably hour is just separate all the cards into the right areas for storing, and just go through the rules and make sure I've got them prepped and ready for when I play tomorrow with a group of lads. So hopefully you've enjoyed this box opening. I'm looking forward to playing it. It's been so long, just getting used to knowing that it will be here, and now that it is here, I'm looking forward to playing. So it's going to be a lot of fun introducing this to other people, and even potentially playing it online with other people as well on Tabletop Simulator. So all those things will come progressively now, but for right now I want to get the gist of the rules and get used to playing with these characters. So thanks for coming, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Thanks and goodbye. Bottom corner. Put another bottom corner.
Nope.